Well, we have some Olds friends here. Haven't seen this one yet. This is my 73 Cutlass Colonnade sedan. You saw a lot of the coupes, but not many sedans. More on that in a little bit.
Well, I'll do a quick preview here of this car. As I said, this is my 1973 Cutlass Colonnade sedan. And they did sell well back in the day. There just are not many of these left. 1973 was the first year of this car and the only year for the small bumper in the back, although it does have the big hang-on bumper in the front because of the bumper impact standards. And it's a radical departure from the previous generation, the 68 to 72 A bodies. Let's walk around to the driver's side here for a moment and take a look at the inside. So this is just the base model, the Cutlass S. It's not a Supreme, but this bench seat here is actually the most comfortable bench seat I think I have in any of my cars. Doesn't look it, but it's got great padding. And you can see the car's got 6,000 original miles on it. I do enjoy the speedometer and the fuel gauge in that kind of inset instrument pod. Let me pop the hood and we'll take a look at what's underneath. This is the original stock 350 4-barrel engine, which was still labeled the Rocket, 180 horsepower. I have added dual exhaust to this car, which I would say has added about 20 horsepower. It definitely improved the top end. And I thought it sounded a little better. Car does obviously have AC. I've replaced the master cylinder, as I've done with so many cars. They just get old. Other than that, totally stock under the hood. And returning to the front, this is the first year of the 5-mile impact standard in 1973, and you can see the grille deflects. I'll push it here. It's spring-loaded, so it'll get out of the way in the event of a low-speed collision. Pretty cool. 74, there would be a big hang-on bumper in the back because of the 74 5-mile-an-hour impact standard in the rear as well. Taking another look inside from the passenger door, the instrument panel is pretty plain Jane in this car, and I would say it's not great materials. These warp really frequently and crack. This one is about as perfect as it gets nowadays. Let's take a look in the back seat. The front bench is all the way back, and there's quite a bit of room in this car. I would actually say the interior compartment is just as roomy as the full-size cars, and as I'll talk about in the full review of the vehicle, these cars drive, in my mind, a lot better than the full-size cars. It's kind of funny to think of this as an intermediate, but that's what it is. And in the Colonnade sedans, you could get this, the Cutlass, you could get the Chevrolet Malibu, the Pontiac Le Mans, the Buick Regal in these 4-door post sedans. And I would say this Olds is really a great driving car. They were trying to go for the European ride and feel of the time, especially with the Cutlass Salon trim, which this is not. But the suspension setup is not wallowy at all. It's actually a great balance between ride and handling, and it doesn't lean in the corners. It corners very flat and true. It's unique, I would say, among 70s era cars. This car does not handle like a boat. It's very pleasant. And here on the driver's visor, you'll enjoy this. This sticker is still in mint condition, given the mileage on the car, but your new Oldsmobile and clean air. Talking about all the different emission controls and basically telling you to wait 2,000 miles if your car runs like crap to do anything. I do think the instrument cluster is interesting. They have indirect lighting shining on the gauges at night. You can see the blue light, which also here, if you flip this switch, doubles as a map light, and it basically moves a shade out of the way from underneath the light, which is having it throw blue-green light normally. And the glove box is extremely small, almost useless. If there were one thing to complain about in this car. Seatbelts also buckle in. The shoulder strap buckles into the B-pillar. Pretty unique setup, so wait for the comparison review of this car versus the full-size car. That will be a fun one. 2 different platforms, 2 different size vehicles between this and the Olds 88 Royale in the back, and they drive very, very differently. And I have a friend who has a 76 Olds 98, so maybe we can do a complete comparison of the lineup, albeit off by a few years, but so what?
Boy, is this car ever quiet. About 68 decibels at 70 miles an hour over concrete. And for anybody who's driven a modern car, you know driving on concrete is much noisier than asphalt. 0 wind noise, almost no road noise, just a little bit of engine rumble. Nothing but smooth cruising. Amazing. One area where they have not bested old technology is this ride and quietness. Yes, I mean, if you get a high-end Lexus or something like that, sure, you'll get a quiet ride, but in the medium-priced field, etc., it's hard to find something that's this quiet over this type of concrete. Happy motoring. And a great view out the hood.
Thanks for watching this preview video of the 73 Olds Cutlass Colonnade sedan and a brief comparison with the 75 Olds 88 Royale. Stay tuned for the full review of the Cutlass, as well as a comparison test between the 88 and the Cutlass, talking about some of the platform differences, the driving differences, and differences in the overall experience. Until that time, you can check out 2 of the video thumbnails at the bottom left and bottom right as some suggestions for you. And if you're not yet subscribed, click the circular icon of the 67 Buick Riviera at the top left, then hit the bell to ensure you're notified of all my future videos. Thanks again. Until next time, take care.